I'm Mr. MegaManFan, and welcome back to Genesis Does, airing every Thursday on MMF 187 at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central. This is Bimini Run by New Vision. It looks like a speedboat with machine guns firing out of it. And that is pretty much exactly what this game is. There's some stickers on the back that mean absolutely nothing to me. I can't tell why they're here. Maybe this was a rental copy. Maybe somebody was trying to get organized. Either way, it's pretty scuffed up and pretty well worn, and it's only a loose cartridge. I have nothing else. But I do have some facts to tell you about it as I boot up the old Mega SG. The developer was Microsmiths. The publisher was New Vision. What else did New Vision ever do? I don't know. This seems to be the only game by them that I have. It was published in the North America territory on October 10th, 1990. I can't tell you when it was released in Japan, but I can tell you what it says right here. Kenji Ohara, you and your loyal friend Luca must pursue and capture the kidnappers before they can return to Dr. Orca's impenetrable island hideout. And yes, this is a gun and boat game. And at first I was confused because I didn't know that you actually had to use the up button on the directional pad to accelerate. I thought it would be A, B, or C, but that was not to be. And when I finally figured it out, I ran straight into a sailboat and crashed. Whoopsie! So, now that I've got the controls figured out, let's give this another try. It's always an experiment when you don't have a box or instructions. So you gotta figure it out on the fly. And I've got 4 continues left to do it with. There's the boat I'm chasing. Now let's get up to speed, get around these sailboats, and see if I can actually catch up to the people who've kidnapped my sister. Why did they kidnap my sister? I don't know. They got a beef with me for some reason. I guess I'm the world famous Kenji Ohara and that's the beef. But they keep radioing to me for God knows what reason. Kenji, come in. Kenji, come in. You'll hear that a lot while you're playing Bimini Run over and over and over again. But there, I've caught up with the kidnapper. Sank his boat. You've picked up the henchmen and captured their weapons. And I get a bunch of bonus points for doing that. But I was tricked. That boat was a decoy. Kim has been taken by helicopter. So now we've got to pursue the real kidnappers and not the ones that I just found. And one thing I have to say about Bimini Run before I read you some more of the wiki entry on this game is that the hitbox is very unforgiving. If a bullet even grazes your boat, you're toast. You have to swing wide to the left or wide to the right anytime anybody starts firing at you. And you've got different weapons you can fire. A seems to be single shots, B seems to be a machine gun, and C seems to be a mounted gun that fires at the helicopters flying overhead. And you can aim the direction of that mounted gun with your D-pad so you can shoot higher or lower at the overhead objects, but they're actually easier to hit than the boats in the water. Now, back to this Wikipedia entry to tell you a little more about the history of this game. And I quote, "The player controls the boat by steering Kenji and shooting a rapid-fire bazooka by Luca. The gameplay consists of moving around the map, typically an archipelago, completing objectives and shooting enemies who stand in your way. The player instantly loses a life if hit." Yeah, I think I mentioned that point. You have the worst hitbox in the world. You don't take any amount of damage, you just go down immediately. These must be some powerful guns that these evildoers are packing. So, maneuvering to dodge enemy fire and other obstacles is a critical skill to learn. Yeah, no shit. Pardon me if you hear me swearing or cursing or yelling in the background, because as fun as Bimini Run is, this game is very frustrating at times. Typical objectives include reaching and destroying certain structures on the islands, or following something around the map to their destination. New objectives are received in the form of radio messages notified by a specific sound effect. And that sound effect is, "Kenji, come in. Kenji, come in." In the pause menu, the player can see the last radio message and the map of the area with current targets marked on it. Boy, I wish I had known that while I was playing. It might have helped me do a little better. Anyway, Bimini Run. Very interesting, very unusual game. This one is definitely a Sega Genesis exclusive. I don't believe this was ever released on Virtual Console. I don't think it's ever been on Steam. And it definitely has never been on any Nintendo platform. Not Nintendo, not Super Nintendo, not Nintendo 64, nothing. It is completely 100% exclusive to both Genesis and Mega Drive. I gotta say, even though it's hard as balls, I'm digging it, and I've learned some strategies. Like I said before, it helps if you swing wide to the left or the right anytime somebody starts firing at you. Even if it means you're gonna miss your target, it means they're gonna miss you. But if you turn back in that direction again too quickly, you'll still run into the bullets because the bullets are apparently moving that slowly. So wait before you move back in the direction you want to fire. And it also helps if you just hold down the machine gun while you're traveling through this archipelago, as the Wikipedia page says, because you never know when you're going to see an enemy boat. So you can always switch at a moment's notice to your mounted gun and use C to fire at the helicopters, but you want to keep that B button on at all times, which I'm not doing here, which is to my own detriment. So you'll see that the longer I play this game, the more I realize that selectively tapping on the gun really doesn't make a difference. It's not like you ever run out of bullets. You have an endless supply in this small little speedboat that you're in, so you might as well just let it rip and keep on chaining the machine gun fire together for as long as you can. Now I'm curious to see what the critical reaction is to this game, because this wiki entry for it is surprisingly short, so I'm going to go to an external link and see. Ooh, Savage, 58 out of 100. User scores 2.4 out of 5. I don't know if I agree with that. Okay, it's tough. I'm not denying it's brutally hard, but 5.2 out of 10 implies it's like a D minus or an F of a game. I mean, if it was anything lower than that, it would be absolute shovelware garbage. So this is below mediocre according to the critical review scores. However, on price charting, the story is completely different because it started out below $5 down to like $2 or $3 loose in 2008, and it briefly jumped above the $10 mark in 2015 and then plummeted way back down. Now it's hovering around the $10 mark again loose. And complete, it goes for $22, and brand new, which I can hardly believe you would find it in that condition in 2019, but brand new it goes for $52. So it seems like there is some demand for Bimini Run. Maybe that has something to do with the fact that this is the one and only New Vision Entertainment game. If you look up their company history, it says company logo 1990 to 1990. Trivia, none. External links, none. So apparently, the success or failure of Bimini Run was critical to this company. I feel like this should be a Matt McMuscles video. Bimini Run! What happened? Yeah, figure it out, Matt. Tell us what New Vision Entertainment was all about and why this game was such a critical flop that it tanked this company and they went out of existence. He sounded so disappointed that Big Red Button didn't go out of existence when Sonic Boom was a colossal flop. But I don't think that was really their fault. I think they got screwed by Sega every which way but loose. And I don't say that lightly because this series is called Genesis Does, so I tend to be kind to Sega. In fact, I tend to give them the benefit of the doubt in some cases, but man, they just did one bad thing after another to Sonic Boom. They were like, okay, rewrite the entire plot of the game because we don't like your pitch. And also, it's going to be a Wii U exclusive. And also, you have to have it out by this date, so you've only got a few months left to finish all the development. And also, you're going to run out of money, so fire 2/3 of your staff and try to finish the game without the resources that you need. I mean, no wonder Sonic Boom turned out to be a steaming turd on the Wii U, which, ironically, makes it more memorable and more noteworthy. You know, that's the funny thing about video games. Sometimes, if they're mediocre, they're worse. If they're bad, if they're really awful, like Sonic Boom or Cheetah Man 2, they're so bad they're entertaining. And of course, great games are always preferable because you can actually play them and enjoy them without having to derive the joy from just how terrible the experience is. But mediocre games, which Bimini run, that might be close to accurate. It's not great, it's not terrible, it's just a game. But I am enjoying playing it to the point that I'm willing to burn through all of my continues to keep this adventure going. So let's give it one more try, even though it really would have helped if I had known to use the start button to figure out where to go on the map and what my next objective was, because all I did was drive my speedboat around shooting enemy boats and helicopters. And if that's all you want to do, then Bimini Run is a great game. If you like speed gunning, if you like boats, if you like action, Bimini Run has all of that. In fact, probably the reason this got such savage reviews, from what I can see, is that people just expected more from a home console game. Now, put this in an arcade cab in the mid 1980s, maybe people would remember this as a legendary game. They'd be like, oh my god, that Bimini Run was so much fun. The graphics are really cool. The shooting action is great. Look at that 3D perspective. Look at the waves. Look at the helicopters circling overhead. Man, this is so much fun. I can't believe they can pack all of this into an arcade game for only a quarter. And maybe the price also has something to do with people being negative on it. If you found this for $1 or $2 in a bargain bin full of loose games, or if you found it at a pawn shop, a thrift store, flea market, whatever, and it was a couple bucks, I'd say pick up Bimini Run and you'll have some Bimini fun. As far as games I've reviewed on Genesis does, this certainly isn't the worst. Maybe not the best, but I've played some dog dirt awful games, and this one doesn't fit that bill to me. I just wish I'd had the mocks in the manual. Then I would have had a better idea how to get about playing this game, but can't win them all. In fact, I've been doing a lot of loose cartridges of late. Maybe I should switch back to doing a boxed game and show you off all of the contents inside, because I feel like that's been missing for a little while. But it's so much fun to go through these loose cartridges and show off the Genesis exclusives that I just can't help myself. I've just been thoroughly enjoying that process. Hopefully you're enjoying it with me. If you have any feedback, you can always leave your comments below. Likes are appreciated, subscriptions even more so. We're going for 1,000. When we get there, there's going to be a special Undertale duet on cello and violin performed by my wife and one of her friends. So you want to stay tuned for that. If you're a big fan of video games or of Undertale, that's an exclusive when we hit 1,000 subscribers right here on the Mr. MegaManFan channel. And I am your host, Mr. MegaManFan, saying thanks for watching.